Here's Mark Kempster. Seems like a normal guy. He isn't. He is a gambling reform advocate. Weird, right? Well, not so much. He was a gambling addict for 10 years, to the point he lost more than $100,000 and tons of relationships. Like Mark, millions of Australians are in this situation, creating what is now a multi-billion crisis in Australia. In fact, right now, over $666 million is draining out of Australian households every single week, accumulating to more than $104 billion lost nationally over just the last 3 years. And spoiler, the government has something to do with it. Stay with us, because today you'll know how gambling platforms are creating a whole industry that profits on the losses of the little guy. Here's the number that puts Australia in a category of its own. In the 2022-2023 financial year, Australians placed bets totaling $244.3 billion, the highest gambling turnover per capita of any country on Earth. The losses from that turnover go up to $31.5 billion according to national gambling statistics compiled by state and territory gaming authorities. That breaks down to a staggering $2,400 lost per year for every single gambling adult in the country. That's not just poker machines and pubs anymore. Research from the Australian Institute of Family Studies found that almost half of Australian adults bet on sports or racing in the past year. Among the people who bet online, the average person holds 2 separate accounts, with roughly 1 in 5 holding 3 or more. And the growth curve is steep. According to the University of Melbourne's Pursuit research publication, the share of men betting on sport nearly doubled between 2015 and 2022. It went from under 6% to almost 10%. So we're talking about an entire generation of Australian men who now carry a betting app in their pocket the way they carry a wallet. And even worse, the pipeline is catching them younger than ever. Recent data reveals that 30% of teenagers aged 12 to 17 are already engaging in some form of underage gambling, a number that explodes to 46% the moment they turn 18 or 19. Statistically, young Australians are now more likely to download a betting app than to play the country's most popular organized sports. But before we continue, drop a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you know as soon as we drop a new video. Here's the part that separates this from your grandfather's flutter. A poker machine in a pub can be regulated. A venue can cap how much someone loses in an hour. Even with the digital shift, we can't forget that these flashing venue machines are the absolute heavyweight of the industry, still accounting for over 56% of every single dollar lost nationwide. But a betting app in someone's pocket operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no venue and no one watching. Behavioral researchers at the University of Melbourne describe this constant, unsupervised accessibility as one of the key reasons gambling has become so much harder to prevent. The late Member of Parliament, Peter Murphy, who chaired the parliamentary inquiry into this industry, put it plainly in her committee's findings. Gambling advertising was, in her words, manipulating an impressionable and vulnerable audience. Her report specifically flagged how advertising and simulated betting mechanics inside video games were introducing gambling behavior to children well before they placed a single real bet. Journalist and historian Quentin Beresford, in his book, Hooked: Inside the Murky World of Australia's Gambling Industry, traces the same pattern back more than 70 years. Poker machines were pushed into working-class communities from the 1950s onward despite clear public opposition at the time from churches, retailers, and women's groups, and many gamblers themselves even supported banning the machines. Beresford's verdict on how the industry grew this powerful anyway is a blunt, a gross failure of public policy repeated at every level of government for decades. This all happened because an industry built around volume of bets, not size of wins, found a delivery mechanism, the smartphone, that never closes. Then, according to reporting from multiple Australian outlets, nothing happened for a long time. The government's promised timeline for a response drifted from mid-2024 to late 2024 to sometime after the 2025 election. The government's formal response finally arrived in 2026, more than 1,000 days after the Murphy report was tabled. The Interactive Gambling Amendment Bill was introduced to federal parliament on July 2, 2026, aimed at curbing online gambling harms. It proposes severe advertising restrictions, sports sponsorship bans, and enhanced bet stop regulations, with sweeping changes scheduled to take effect on January 1, 2027. The bill will limit gambling ads to 3 per hour between 6 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. and a total ban during live sports broadcasts around that time. It will prohibit athletes, celebrities, and influencers from promoting, as well as restrict gambling ads on online platforms and radio and ban them from stadiums and team uniforms. The industry's peak body, Responsible Wagering Australia, took a different view, arguing publicly that more time was needed just to implement the changes that were announced. So what did 3 years and 1,000+ days actually produce? A national ban on wagering ads during live sport broadcasts between 6:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m., a cap of 3 ads per hour, no more betting logos on player jerseys or stadium signage, no more celebrities or display odds in ads. But the Murphy Committee's central recommendation, a complete ban on gambling advertising, was left out. The government's own commission research reportedly found that partial advertising bans don't actually reduce gambling harm. There is still no dedicated national gambling regulator, and the reforms that did survive won't take legal effect until January 1st, 2027, assuming the legislation can pass a Senate where the government doesn't hold a majority. For Mark Kempster and for the family of Peta Murphy, and for the hundreds of thousands of Australians research suggests are experiencing gambling-related harm right now, the question isn't really about advertising caps or implementation dates. It's simpler than that. When the evidence, the public, and basically every party in Parliament all agree on what needs to happen, what does it actually take to make it happen? We'd love to hear what you think in the comments below, because stories like this matter the most. Problems like the one Australia and big part of the world is facing goes back to an ethical question on the good values we want to instill in our community and our country. And that is exactly our mission. We are Big Picture Originals, a brand powered by Brazil Paralelo, driven by a small team that seeks to bring to you high-quality productions that connect audiences with the culture, history, and values that give purpose to life. To achieve our goal, every kind of support means the world. So if you feel related and you enjoyed this video, drop a heart like. Let us know your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to our channel and share this video with anybody that you feel might appreciate it. And if you want to get early access to our releases, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now. See you in our next brief.